It is September 14th, 2025. Oh, a lot of people disappeared, but I kind of sort of emailed the chief of police in Portage County, the Stark County Sheriff's. I did a submit tip to the CIA the other day, and then I drove through Ravenna today. And I know the guys that work the case are up there, the originals. So I made sure I talked about everything. So hoping someone can get a hold of Agent John. You know, the last week has been horrible. Horrible. I mean, I've got these people, and then I got the crap with my new husband and his second wife's kids that think he's a millionaire and there's no money. And trying to steal his land, threatening his life. His other son, they got him acting as crazy as they are, threatening to take him out to Youngstown. Has some attorney and somebody list him incompetent, throw him in a nursing home, and they're supposed to try to do it to me and sign everything over to them. See, that was part of my FBI case. So it's this actual scam they're pulling here in Ohio. They had said they had an attorney's office and some doctor write up I was supposed to be found incompetent or insane, and um, that they were going to have everything signed over to them. And I thought they were just trying to scare me. But with Carl's son Rick saying they had some attorney's office that was going to do it to him, and they were going to take him out to Youngstown. They had somebody to put it through the court system, have him, they were going to kidnap him and me, have us found incompetent, dump him in a nursing home, have everything we both own signed over to them. And they didn't know what they were going to do with me. That's not funny. And they even told his daughter, Carl's daughter, Audrey, Rick told her he had plans to do it. They've went quiet, not trying to talk to Carl, which is scary. Because what are they planning? Because his second wife, I've told you about her, her children, they're nothing but con men, scam artists, like these people. That's where Brenda married Carl, or met Carl 6 months after her divorce. The oldest one, Dab, uh, was 26, married, had a child, living with her husband, had a father her whole life. Okay? Her mom and dad just divorced when she was 26. And that's where Veronica and Bob, they were teenagers. Knew the real father, had a relationship with him, actually lived in a home with him till 6 months before they met Carl. More than likely, with him still being alive and in the area, Brenda or Deb was taking them over to see the real father behind Carl's back. See what I mean? But the way they tell it, Deb never had a father, never had a father in the home. He died after she was born. And so Bob and Veronica are immaculate conceptions. See, the lies just don't stop. But then he's supposed to be so abusive, he kicked Bob in the balls, and that's why he can't have kids. So that's where uh it's like you're saying some dead guy kicked Bob in the balls. Oh, he was beating him so bad they had to run on and hide under a bridge when they were kids. It's like some dead guy beat the kids in the head, run and hide from some ghost. It's like they can't keep their story straight. And in that courtroom, her throwing this baby fit. Now, like the investigators showed up the next day. We all know Deb had a father in the home her whole life. And she was 26, a grown woman, married, with a child, living with her husband, when her mom married Carl. It's just her mom's second husband. And for her to be distraught, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy. He's not her daddy. They're more yelling, my ATM. Uh, and then after she got crocodile tears, she came out of the courtroom, turned around, looked at me, and went. Then when all the fiasco and sideshow of like Bob and Karen, and I still have to report that judge. I mean, my God. Like the attorney Diana, she said, I've never seen such a sideshow in a circus. Sideshow in a circus. Of people, the way they act, and the judge allowing that, and people changing their story all the time. And you blatantly lying to them and didn't call them out. Bob admitted to beating Carl before and beating him bad. Carl said it was a fight for their life. The only thing saved him was adrenaline. He rushed up and he grabbed a hold of the middle of his throat and squeezed it until he couldn't breathe and walked off coughing. He had told him not to swear at his mom, and he backed him in the corner and was beating him. He's like, what, 5'7", 5'10". Carl's 5'3", 140. Not even a fair fight. Carl was way up in his 60s, and he was actually in his 20s, beating an old man. So when he showed up last Sunday, Carl, knowing he threatened to take me out of Carl's life, he'd never see me again. They had ways of doing it and all this stuff. And Carl's like, don't say that. That's my wife. Oh, you only think you're married? No, I'm really married. Bill Stoneman, Mayor of Carrollton, married us in my attorney's office. Oh, Karen's evil, da 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 da. We're going to take care of her. Psychos. That's where Bob admitted to beating me. He said, oh, I was only at 15. No. And Carl's like, liar. He was like 25, 26. Beating an old man. It's sick and it's disgusting what they've done to my husband. And they're his second wife's kids. And Carl's like, I'm scared for my life. I never want him around me ever again. And he said, I never want to see him. And he has a right to say that. He has a right to be safe and secure, safe within his own person. Okay? It's the Fourth Amendment, along with the right to privacy. See, that's where then that Karen came in, his girlfriend, and said, oh, she was a drama queen. My God. They both started lying to the point they were laughing in that judge's face. And they couldn't even keep it straight, beating the table, everything. Saying where Bob said, we never asked money for Deb. And then he's like, well, actually we did. And that Karen over there swore at my woman. I had to grab her leg and say, easy, babe. Okay? She's like, she comes in and she said, we never asked money for Deb. She said, well, actually we did. But that Karen over there swore at me. And Bob had to hold me back from meeting her or getting her. She's that psycho and so dangerous. Somebody swears at her and she thinks she's going to attack him. And that never even happened. I mean, I could have swore. But her telling. When I told him, too bad, there is no money. And she's not getting any more after she screamed and yelled at Carl for $4,000, handed her $4,000. And is that all? Oh, and by the way, where they act like they didn't know we were going to get married. In September of 24, Carl told Deb, I'm going to be marrying Karen. She told him, you're not allowed to marry Karen. You're not allowed to marry anybody after my dead mama. Psycho. Screamed at him till he cried for a week. You know, they invited him over on Memorial Day weekend, a Memorial Day of 24. They asked him for money. He said, all the big money's gone. It's all gone. He said, I don't have those big checks. It's all gone. I already gave it all to you. Well, on the 4th, they didn't invite him back. Labor Day. Then after that, that's when they called up and demanded the money, or in around that time, and threw that mad fit around Labor Day. Got the $4,000, and she was making up this lie. Her husband's crippled. He can't hardly walk because of his back. He can only make it to the recliner where he can play video games all day. So I can play video games, he work a desk job. When I sign up for disability, oh, his back is just so tore up. I have to go out and work in a factory. He walked just fine in that courtroom. He didn't need a walker. He didn't need a cane. He was fine. They lied. And when she's pleading, oh, we're 3 months behind on our rent. She has a grown daughter who's supposed to be living with her, working. They can help pay the rent. And screaming how they need medication, they need this, they need that, and screamed and screamed and screamed. And Carl had been saving for our wedding, for our rings and the wedding, and that's he gave her that money, and then she screamed at him until he cried, and he said she was screaming that I'm not allowed to marry you. I said, you don't have to marry me. I said, I don't marry somebody that needs somebody's permission. He's like, well, I can marry who I want. And I said, then what are you doing crying over these people? And I said, because don't ever think you have to marry me. You know, and da-da-da-da-da. See, that's where Carl and I were friends for about a year and a half, when him and his late wife moved in. I met him one day. She was trying to get her oxygen tank into the truck, and I went over to help. And she's like, that's what I got him for. She's like, but thank you, sweetie. And talked to him a couple other times. Well, when I come home, he come out and talk to me. And then when she got real bad, he came out and said, would you hold me? And I would just sit there and hug him. And we got to talking, and a good friendship started. And then after she died, he would make a beeline when I pull in, and he and when we'd talk, he'd be waiting for me late at night with the door open, make sure I got in okay. He would be up first thing in the morning, coming over to talk to me. And when Dave fled the country, I didn't have enough money for my rent, and I went to stay somewhere else, and it didn't work out, and he offered me a room. And he was already telling people he was in love with me, and he thought I was beautiful. And he asked me to date him. I said, we're only friends. He's like, give me a chance. I'll never hurt you. He said, just give me a chance, Karen. And he's the sweetest man. Sweetest man. And he asked me to marry him a couple months later. And he asked me to marry him in like August or September. And we didn't get married till April. We didn't rush into anything. In November, I told you that Bob, where he took all that money from Carl too, he was supposed to be making payments. He had only made a payment in October of 24. He stops by, he's drunk with his girlfriend, and said he didn't have the money. November, Carl's like, I want him to make a payment. We go over, he's like, Bob, you need to make a payment. He's like, you fucking tight bastard. And he said, I still want a payment. And he said, did that new well come in? He said, no, it won't be till, they're talking sometime next year. You liar, don't lie to me. And Carl said, well, Karen and I are going to get married. And he said, you better not. But he mentioned it to him. And Then we didn't see them again till June. He would come call in the morning. They had to do the coffee quiz together. On channel, what is that, 8 News? They do a coffee quiz. And that would be it. And, you know, where we lived, our phone, they had been them pranking us. Our phone was ringing day and night. And they would either hang up or act like an ad. And they had to be rerouting their numbers because when we moved, it stopped. It had been them. And, you know, and see, none of this drama should even be happening. Shouldn't even be happening. In June, they had us meet him at Bob Evans. He made another payment. I hadn't paid since November. And he said, Deb needs more money. Carl said, there is no money. He said, too bad. Deb needs it and she's family. And I told him what she did last year. And I said, there is no money. And it is too bad she's not getting any more money. And too bad she's family. You'll give it to her. No, we won't. We go to leave. Carl's like, I don't want them to know where we're moving. I don't want them showing up and bullying me out of money anymore. And now, all his biological children knew we were moving, just not Brenda's children, his stepchildren. And it's just he didn't want bullied anymore. He has a right not to want to be bullied. Okay? Did they buy him a birthday gift last year? No. Did they come see him? No. Christmas? No. So, do they have anything to do with his daily care? No. Weekly? No. Monthly? No. Yearly? No. They show up when they want money. Carl found a checkbook. We just had him print off some numbers. And there's way over 60 grand just in a handful of checks wrote out to those 3 people where they got money without a large amount of cash. I'm sure when I go through more, I'll get more. Where they can't deny that they got it from him and didn't pay it back. I witnessed $6,000 for with Deb, and then that Veronica wanted $1,300 for diet shots and $700 for a washer that she never got. And so that's $6 grand in 3 months without all the other times. See, that's where they just drained him dry. When you get, okay, on his farm, around the farm, the other properties have oil wells. So they had to run a pipe through his land. So he got over, was a year or two, he got 300 grand. Well, that's a one-time thing. And then they'll give you a little mineral rights here and there, but they have to give it to everybody in that area. Okay? Well, all the big money's gone. He had to pay, he said, $50,000 the first year on the taxes and $40,000 on the other. And they took the rest. And it's just, you know, we're in that courtroom. And she comes in and they call me a gold digger and he owes me money. Oh, that Karen's pure evil. She went out and bought him shoes and clothes and got him nutritious food so he felt good about himself. That's what you do when you care for someone. He was wearing ragged shoes while they were robbing him blind. Ragged shoes. See, the VA doctor loves me because his A1C went from 9.9 to 7.9. He's healthier than he has been in years. And see, Deb making that big scene in there. My daddy. Oh, I can't live without my dad. Now, like an investigator showed up the next day in Alliance. Everybody knows she had a real dad. She had a father in the house. She was a grown woman, married, with kids. So why is she crying over her mother's second husband? Second husband. Why is she crying over him? Do they have an affair? Well, then after what she pulled in the courthouse, after everything, she walked up to Carl. Carl and I are sitting there. She she goes, oh, and she starts kissing him passionately. Oh, yeah. French kissing him. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, Carl. And she keeps, oh, yeah. And now I want you to think of this. She's 6 foot tall. She's 300 to 350 pounds. She has giant feet like a guy, hair cut off like a guy, and she's toothless. And it was like a man attacking my husband. And I'm like, Carl. And he's just sitting there frozen. She's going, meh. It's like a man molesting my husband. It was like a train wreck. I'm like, Carl. And he's sitting there froze. All over in his mouth. Everything. And then she feels up his chest afterwards. And he's just sitting there froze. Coming on to her stepdad sexually. Disgusting. Well, the next day, Carl's face starts swelling. I didn't think anything of it. Had a little zit right there. I thought maybe it's just swelling because he picked a zit. Oh. Next day, it looks a little more puffier. Well, I can't even stand to look at him at this point. I said, I can't even look at you. I just see Deb all over you. It just makes me nauseous. The whole thing makes me nauseous. All I can hear is those moaning and groanings. And yesterday we were talking and it looked a little more puffier. By that night it looked a lot more. And I said, Carl, your face is swollen on one side. If it's not better by morning, we'll take you to Stack Hair. Well, this morning at Bob Evans, I said something to the waitress. I said, it looks a little swollen, doesn't it? She said, yeah, a lot right through here. Took him over there, and where that dirty, filthy bitch, toothless bitch, French kissed him, he's got thrush all through his mouth. White sores. He's never had it before. I said, you don't know if she was with her husband before they came in there? You don't know if she's ever, because she don't have any teeth, if she's rinsed her mouth out? You don't know where and who she's had her mouth on. And that's how you get venereal diseases, let alone infections like this. And we were talking to the Stack Hair doctor about what happened. He said, I can't say 100% for sure she caused it, but it's a good chance. If she's that dirty and that nasty and that's disgusting, her throwing herself sexually at her stepfather. It is. See, that's where investigators said, are they having a love affair? Because we already knew she had a father. Everybody knew they all had a father and them acting like that. What is going on? They're pulling a big scam on everybody. Thinking you're all stupid. And that Bob saying, are you paying my dad rent? I'm married to him. You don't pay your husband rent, you idiot. Oh, we heard that Carl bought her son Dan a truck. He never bought Danny anything. They made it up. Oh, it was just a onset of lies. And to the point, Carl's going, liar, liar. And we weren't allowed to talk to him unless we had him on speaker. Carl's like, I can't hear anymore. I just got my hearing aids. I had you on speaker because I couldn't hear you. Acting like I'm the problem. It's all stemming from me. Not that we're, like Audrey said, and Desi, his biological daughters. Karen, you had nothing to do with this. You are not the problem. You walked into a problem of Brenda, his late wife. This is what she caused, the way she was, and she taught her children to be this way. And they're spoiled brats that think they're entitled, and they basically think they got them in their role, everything. Lied their asses off, changed their story several times. They got to the point they were laughing at that judge and beating the table. They were laughing and they were lying so bad. The attorney Diana, she's like, I've never seen such a spectacle and a sideshow go on in a courtroom and a judge allowing it. and being evil towards you people. She suggested the next day that we move out of Tuscarawas County. I know you got a beautiful place. I know you're new to the county, and you need to get out of here. That judge was evil. Oh, you know why? I walk out, and that judge has her back to me. They were all down here saying she's the biggest liar, and nothing she said is credible, and we're all supposed to get even with her. See the scam of the cartel trying to get it thrown out. The Agent John's case. See where they're impersonating the Portage County Sheriffs, where they did at Faith Family Church, and it's a Florida drug cartel. And to find out this is Melissa's divorce attorney, that's doing it. I don't even know who he is. And some guy named Pete Dave hired on his own, and got the cartel involved. Like they said, Melissa's divorce attorney wanted to make sure Melissa got everything, so they thought they had to take out John's mom. She wasn't divorcing me, she was divorcing my son. And why were they afraid of a 51-year-old fat woman in a skirt? It's not like I'm Chuck Norris. It's almost comical. You're afraid of a 51-year-old fat woman in a skirt. What the hell? And what's wrong with you to be afraid of something like that? You gonna be afraid of a nun too? God of heaven. And then you think of the bitch moves of the hypnotic drug confessions. I get up there 6 days later, somebody kicks in my door. And by the second week, I'm waking up with bruises. I take a shower, get in bed, wake up with giant bruises, throwing up, severely infected, throwing up, almost passing out, heart racing, and a severe personal infection. Come in from working outside, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink, go in and use the bathroom, wash my hands better, come out and take a drink out of a 2-liter Diet Coke, the room goes dizzy and black, and I think the well water is killing me, giving me cancer. Never talked to anybody, never had anybody in my home. Had family repair guys, installation guys, and 2 silly officers on August 8th of 18 midnight, lighting the security system outside, came out and said it looked like an alien orb, angry spirit, told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle. Never had anybody in my home. Told you I had 3 weird memories. I thought they were nightmares. Sound of footsteps, a white man's arm with a white dress shirt, gray pinstripe, and a syringe coming at me, and the room going dark. Feeling like my back's being ripped to my chest. I can't see, I can't breathe, and every cell in my body's yelling in agony, and all I can hear is my screams. Here I'm being drug beat and raped. Melissa's divorce attorney has no right to have John's mother raped or involved in my life at all. And like they said, Melissa's divorce attorney thought they had to take out John's mom to make sure Melissa would get everything. And Dave hired some guy named Pete on his own who got the cartel involved so that they make sure they got everything. And Melissa's divorce attorney thought he'd go after the divorce, the FBI case, get all the money out of that. You know, when I walked by September 10th, 25, Tuscarawas Courthouse, they need to get it. The tapes of that, not only the shamble and that judge saying those people can be around my husband. And he's like, I'm scared for my life. I don't want them near me. Oh, they can be around. They're your children. They're not his children. They're Mr. Blue's children. They have a real father that they knew and had a relationship with. And when I walk out of the courtroom, they came down here and said she's a liar. Nothing she said is credible, and everyone's to get even. So you'll let them kill my husband? Then as I walk by some guys behind a door, I had a right to do all those things to her. I had a right to know what I was up against. You're afraid of a fat woman in a skirt? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? See, that's what is wrong with you? And where they said Melissa's divorce attorney's trying to get Agent John's case thrown out. See, right on Google, the police can never tell anybody that an FBI informant is not credible. They cannot badmouth them because they go to jail for obstruction of justice, aiding and abetting crimes, tampering with a witness. You're in government immunity And where these people are, we're going to get stuff against her. I'm in government immunity. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm in government immunity. 95% of the people in the witness protection program are criminals. Only 5% are victims. And their whole past are wiped out. See, at Faith Family Church in 2019, the Florida drug cartel showed up and they said they worked for Judge Peters and they were from Florida. They had people impersonate an FBI agent that tortured me, and the Portage County sheriffs were helping out. And there was a guy who looked like a deranged Santa Claus saying he was friends with Ludic, helping him get away with crimes. And I still haven't figured out why you frame Ludic. I mean, dear God, he's a Christian judge, family court, quote scriptures of the pulpit thing. And why would you frame him? Of all people, what does Melissa's divorce attorney have against Ludic? It's like a male Mary Poppins. Why would you frame him? Like they said, they already know they're framing everyone. And, you know, they're trying to frame the Portage County sheriffs. They impersonated them at Faith Family Church and other places. And it was the Florida drug cartel. Where I went up to the Portage County sheriffs, they knew nothing of this. It wasn't them. It's Judge Peters' group from Florida, where Judge Peters got arrested in 22 off of this. They're trying to get, where they said that Melissa's divorce attorney wants every drug dealer released. Because if a police officer says that the informant is a liar, they're not credible, then the case is fraud. You can't arrest people on fraud. Where they got all those drug dealers under police surveillance. You can't use stuff that's going to say the police surveillance is fraud. Then, like they said, why are they insulting Agent John, calling him a coward now? Well, they're trying to say he's not even credible. And they want the whole case thrown out and every drug dealer released. And no one else arrested off this. May God help us all. They got thousands of human traffickers, serial killers will be released back into society. I hope the CIA gets Melissa's divorce attorney. Waterboard him till they give up the king from Texas. He likes to have women tortured, human trafficked. I'm sure the CIA can teach him levels of torture that he's never seen. They need to find out who's been down there. See, it's right on Google. Any officer ever says not to believe an FBI informant, they go to jail for obstruction to justice, tampering with a witness, and aiding and abetting crimes. They're federal crimes. See, that's where a Camp police officer said Miss Hall with that open FBI case. No officer would dare insult you. If they did, they get in a lot of trouble. They could get 20 years. See, that's where in 2018 the cartel was running around Walmart. You say one word about us, we'll get you known as a liar. Nothing you say is credible. They can't use your testimony in court against us. And everything will get thrown out. That's what they're trying. See, they already... Okay. July 24th, 25, outside Bob Evans, there's a guy on a motorcycle. Has a helmet on. And he's talking. And they're telling him about that guy showing up at Faith Family Church. Okay. The one that looked like a deranged Santa Claus. And he said, as if Ludic would let him get away with crimes. He said, but there was a man there. Oh, yeah, and several other places. They were impersonating people. Okay? And they said we did a body ratio of the tape of Weird With Yourself. It wasn't even her. It was somebody else showering, and they put her head on someone else's body. That's why Danny and Jen didn't know about it, nor will they have part of it. Okay? Like Jen said, I told an investigator. She had bruises all over her, sick and almost passing out, and I didn't think of someone hurting her. And we weren't part of this. And we didn't know about No Tape or Weird With Yourself, nor were we a part of it. Because it's Photoshopped. Where they already admitted years ago it's a shower scene. Here it's not even me washing myself. It's some other lady. That means they're in some other lady's house. Okay? And then July 25th, 25. Okay? I'm in Bob Evans. Some idiot says, well, John verified it for Will. It's like, oh, hell no, he didn't. On Thanksgiving of 18, when I asked him what was going on, he didn't know. And Melissa, his ex-wife, was just going to have the kids make up something because of the divorce, but don't worry about it. No one can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too, but trust me, Mom, nobody can say anything bad about you. It'll just be made up because of the divorce and you're moving out. And I said, you shouldn't have said anything until it happened, but I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. Then after what Melissa did a couple years later, snuck in his house, waited for him to come out of the bathroom, didn't even know she was there, lunged at him screaming. He pushed her out of being startled. Now, I got you, had him arrested, domestic violence, had bail out of jail, fines, get an attorney, lost his kids for a year. Called me up and said, Mom, I need a reliable name to put on the court records to pick up Kenzie Carrington and Noah. I said, John, I'm working 2 jobs. I don't get off the first one, let alone the second one. Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. I barely make it now. And he said, but Mom, these are my kids. And I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. You wouldn't ask somebody to be a reliable name if you are going to be along with the drug scam. See where they did the separate and destroy? You get everybody on the same board. They did a separate and destroy, and nobody knew about the scam. That's right. After that, and Bob Evans, a investigator from 18 walk-in Walmart 62, July 25th, 25. I told that couple not to say a word to her. Again, I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing bad happened to him. So did all our kids. We were right after Thanksgiving of 18. The FBI had a huddle with the police where they having those kids make that shit up because Miles' kids got taped in the basement saying they were making everything up. They were games of pretend. Okay? And they wanted the house for Auntie Sean Papa. That Melissa had got taped telling the kids to lie and the kids stating they were lying. Okay? And they said, oh, they just they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Just like they try to say Josh, my other son, was trying to steal money from me. I had lent him money, and he said he gave it back. He said, I wouldn't ever be known as someone takes advantage of their mom or try to steal from them. See, these people made up all these scams, and they did the separate and destroy, and nobody knew about it. These people admitted August 4th, 25, they used hypnotic drugs on me. That's why I had a metal taste in my mouth, and I have no memory of anything. August 5th, 25, in Dutch Valley, they admitted again the hypnotic drugs. That's why I have no memory. And they call Agent John a coward. And then August 7th, 25, in Walmart 62, they have the tapes of that.